Well, hello and welcome to Web 101. So I'm going to be doing tutorials and series about how to make or how to do website development, back-end development, front-end development, all that kind of stuff. Maybe touch into some of the frameworks that are available for JavaScript, such as React or whatever, like Angular, for example, that might be there. So I'm gonna try and do that as easily as possible and put my take on things, on how I think that it should be taught, because obviously I've mainly learned PHP, and I still think that PHP is a very viable and usable language today in 2020, because it's very easy to pick up if you've learned other. So if you've learned other languages such as Java, then it's really easy to pick up. If you learn and if you learn languages such as like C++, for example, as well, it's very easy to pick up because the syntax is very, very similar. It's similar to Python. Well, obviously not similar to Python, but but you need to get used to it a little bit. But it's all right. It's all right. It's not. I wouldn't see with PHP. I wouldn't be coding. I wouldn't use it to code some desktop class application, because obviously that's not what it's meant for. Because that would be a bit stupid. Although you can, because you can compile it using the PHP local compiler, and you can do it that way. But then obviously that's not what I'm saying here. We're not trying to do that here. We're trying to basically we're going to try and use it as a back-end language. Okay, so everything I'm going to do in this tutorial series from now on is going to be from scratch. I've got nothing. I know how to do it because obviously I've done this countless times before. But obviously there's not going to be any copy paste. So if I see any errors, I see it first time, as you would do first time round. Although I've done it before, so my errors should be it should be less. But we're going to go from there. But this is channel number 1, which is Web 101. I'm creating another one for channel number 2, which is Web 101 Vlogs, where it is generally about it's just my vlogging channel, really, because I'm here in Copenhagen currently doing my industrial placement, 1-year internship. So I want to document the sites and things that I see along my way here in Copenhagen. But I don't even know whether I'm going to make that, because I've got a backlog of things to do, because my internship takes time, and there's so many things that need to be done. So I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make a fully fledged login system. So this may consist of multiple parts, which it probably will be, because obviously I don't want to jam it into one big session, because obviously it's not really a good idea. I want to keep that short and sweet and then get it over and done with. Okie dokie. So first of all, we need to get started with downloading our editor. So the IDE. So if you've never coded in PHP before, or if you've never ever coded before, and you don't know what an IDE is, then obviously then let me explain. So an IDE is basically an integrated development environment where you can basically code. Or you can write code and you can run it, you can compile it, you get errors and things like that. Okay, so there are things you can use. So you can use Sublime text, you can use VS Code, but so the one that I'm going to use is, of course, Phpstorm. I use JetBrains software because I love it, and I get it for free because I'm a student too, so it works out for the best of both worlds for me. So feel free to get the 30-day trial of Phpstorm if you prefer. But as well, whatever that can be done in Phpstorm can as well be done in Sublime Text. Even the basic just of text editor like Notepad, for example, or you can use VS Code. So, but for now, let me open Sublime Text, because this is the one that I would recommend for this, because this is what I would really suggest, because it's close to that saving. Because this is close to that saving. Because this is what I was using. This is what I was using beforehand. Okay. Oh, I closed it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to create a new. We're going to go open folder. Okay. So go to your location. So I'm going to put it in documents. So I'm going to call this Web 101, and then we're going to say login system. Okay, maybe I can't do that. I was thinking of the wrong distribution. Okay, so and I'm going to go again. So we're going to go there. So we have our folder system here. Okay, so if you've installed, so if you're not going to bother paying for or getting a trial for Phpstorm, then if you're going to pay, then if you're going to get this, so okay, so first things first is we need to install some add-ons. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do is, if you go into Tools, you can see a little button called Install Package Control. So give that a second. So package control installed successfully. So this means now you can start installing stuff. So what I'm going to do, is okay, so what we need to do is, if we type in here IP, which is for install package. So first of all, the main thing that I tend to use is sidebar enhancements. Okie dokie. And then we also want to do a new advanced file. There you go. That's one that we also want to do. And we also want to do file icon, which we'll see in a second. We want to do emits, which is, I'm going to tell you what, yes, you can disable that if you want, but this is absolutely, like, it is the best. It's the best plugin that I've come across. Oh wait, I meant to remove that. So what I want to do is okay, so now that we got everything set up, let's just start making the folder structure. So the thing about sidebar enhancements is that you now get a bunch of things that you can do. There's this thing called give 20, which you can disable if you go into which you can actually go and disable, but obviously yeah, don't do that. I've done that before. Just pay them the money if you want to disable it. You know, there's a thing that you can do, which is to oh, sorry, I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay them 20. But if you do pay them 20, you can disable it, and it's sure you have to do that from within the preferences and whatnot. Like, let me show you how. If you go to preferences, go to packages, sidebar, and then user, make a new one, and then you can go and grab the whole thing. Oh, and then you can go and grab that, paste that in there, and then save it. And now that $20 should go away. But obviously, do this at your own risk, because obviously it's just not obviously not exactly what should be happening. Like, not exactly what you should be doing. But let's go. Okay, so once you've got it installed, so let's make a new folder. First thing we want to do is make a new folder called CSS. Actually, we can do Control N. Control Shift. So what we can do is, if you was to go Control Alt N on Windows, and on Linux and Mac, if you do Windows, if you do Super or Windows Shift N or Command Shift N, I mean not Shift, my bad. Command Alt N or Windows Alt N for Linux. It brings up this little box here for a new file. Let's go ahead and go and say js/index.js, and we can do the same thing, and we can say css/index.css. Well, I should have done that for the folder as well, but you know, we're gonna rename that actually, because it should be main.css, not index. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to say a new file, and we're just going to call it index.html. So this is the basic folder structure required, and basic files that are required for the login system to work. We're also going to need some other PHP files as well, but I'll get into that in the future. So to get started, we need to basically create a page. We need a basic starting page. So if you've installed Emmet, like I've showed you how to do so, just click the exclamation mark and tab, and it's going to come up like this, which is your standard page that you need. So as I mentioned, the good thing about Emmet is you can do stuff like nav. You can group tags together, but in a single line, and then tab it out later. So you can do stuff like this. Let's say you wanted a simple navigation system. And something I didn't notice that Sublime Text does is it automatically shows you what the preview is going to look like. So essentially, you could design the full page in here without necessarily requiring you to actually, with just Emmet, without necessarily you requiring to make anything. But obviously I'm not going to do that on this video. I might make another short video showing how to do that, but or showing the process of how that goes, you know, and you might be how that goes. But if you want me to do that, let me know, and I'll do that. But let's get going. Okay, so something like this as an example I was showing would be maybe say put an A in there, like a link tag, and then we want to say something like href. And if we just put in there saying .html, so anyway, it's an HTML file, because most of our pages are going to be HTML. That's in a website, most of them are going to be HTML. And then if you just put some text, we're going to give it $1, which just gives it a number, you know. Or we're just going to say page 1. Doesn't really matter what it is. Oakley dokley. So what we can do afterwards is, now that we know what it's going to look like, if we just do that instead, actually, not like that, and if you multiply that by 4 now, we should be able to tab this out. So what I mean is, what you can do is you can now tab this out, like I said, and voila, it becomes this. So obviously from this you can go in and go further, and you can go like whoop, and then you can say stuff like that is oddly strange why that happens, but obviously this video is not for Emmet. Okay, this video is not for Emmet, but you know, we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there for now with the basic setup. So we've now got our basic page and setup. So now what we need to do is we need to get other environments sorted out. Okay. So now that we've got our other environment this environment sorted out, we need to get other environment sorted out, which is in fact making sure that PHP is installed. You know, making sure that we've got our stack installed, so that we can go ahead and actually start, you know, actually running the pages on the browser as such. So, because obviously we don't want to be running servers, like we can't really run PHP code on a browser, because it's not really it's not really possible, you see, because you would just get errors, or not errors, you would just see it as text, because it's your thing is not really a server. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okie dokie, so let's go ahead and do that. So as I mentioned, first of all, we need to do is we need to open up the terminal. So I'm currently using a Linux distribution. I'm using Manjaro, which runs on Arch. So all of these commands will be using the pacman package manager. So if you use a different distribution, such as Ubuntu, or you know, or Fedora, or Gentoo, for example, then feel free to look up alternative tutorials online. I will put one down in the description for Aptitude Package Manager users, such as Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and so on and so forth. Because I know that's another popular one. But if you have a very specific distribution, you know, you can go ahead and look at it now. Okay, so first of all, what we want to do is we want to update just update the package manager. Pass it in. So okie dokie, so everything is up to date. Cool. Now we want to install Apache because we need Apache, which is obviously going to be our main kind of source, because we can't really run the server. This is the main base of the server, so which is going to run the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript side of it, or it's going to literally host it for us. Okay, so what we want to do. So now, using your favorite text editor, your favorite pseudo text editor. Okay, so bearing in mind this is a tutorial for Linux, but if you do use Windows, if you use Windows, for example, then obviously there is, if you use Windows, then there is Wamp Server. And Wamp Server is basically really easy. Just click download, click your version, done, install, and then you're basically good to go. Also, there is XAMPP as well. If you prefer XAMPP, then that's there as well. But basically, XAMPP is just another alternative. XAMPP is also another alternative which you can use, which is also available for Windows as well and Mac, and as well it is available to run on Linux. But obviously, I'm gonna do the manual method, which is what I prefer, because this gives you more flexibility and control and things like that if you want to install some stuff, depending on what you want to install. So now that we've got Apache installed, we now want to use a favorite text editor, so a favorite pseudo or administrative protected text editor, because obviously if you want to use, because I use KDE here, so if you want to use something like, do I have K right? Let's just see. Yeah, so if you want to use Cape, for example, sudo Cape. Oh, you can't use Cape. It doesn't allow you to do so. So choose something else. Obviously, you can use gedit, which is also another alternative. Although gedit is basically the GNOME version, basically GNOME's text editor, which can be used with sudo. Funnily enough, the sudo version of the application has a skin that I've applied in the settings, but the non-sudo edition of the thing, it does not, which is quite funny. But okay, so pick your editor. So let's go, and I'm going to pick Sublime Text, which can also Sublime Text does work as work with sudo. So let's go to etc httpd/conf/httpd.conf. Now we want to edit this so that we want to edit this so that we can actually we can actually set some stuff up for PHP and use this. And we can continue. We can actually use it. We can actually run PHP and things like that on the server side. So basically, do not mess with this. Essentially, don't mess with this if you don't know what you're doing. Like, because see, I don't even know what I'm doing with this. Okay, I only remember this from what I've done before. So we want to look for load module unique mods unique ID, and what we want to do is we want to comment that out Not exactly sure why this has to be done. And then if we go back to the terminal, we can then do sudo systemctl restart Apache. That was a restart, okay, which means you haven't started before. Systemctl start Apache. Apache.service not found. So, actually, yeah, my bad. It should have been just sudo systemctl restart httpd, which is what we should have done. Okay, now that you've got that up and running, we should now be able to actually go to the browser and go to just localhost, and we should see a server up and running. So, yay, there is now a server. Obviously, it does nothing because it's just a blank server. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that down there. So next what we need to do is we need to start there's a few things that you can do, but you know I'm just gonna I'll be right back. So what I did is I went and created a really quick test page. So if you go back and reload the page, it just says this is just a test page. So now we know that properly, like absolutely properly, that the server is now up and running. Now what we want to do is we want to obviously install MySQL, MariaDB, get obviously the database up and running so that we can obviously in the future we can use the database and things like that. So if you go to sudo pacman -s MySQL okay, so if you're on Manjaro or if you're on Pacman, if you use Pacman for example, then I suggest clicking 1 to MariaDB. And then just click yes. If you're on another distribution, obviously follow your. If you're not using Pacman, then please follow your respective guides. Okay, so now that we've seen that, it's installed, let's just go in and do sudo systemctl status and do MariaDB, and we can see it's inactive and dead. So what we want to do is we want to do MySQL secure there's the difference here, because what we need to do is you probably want to start it So apparently, my confusion was that I had to do this, which is to install the actual database itself. But I need to install, which is to basically install the basic database that I need. But obviously, once that's finished, once that's finished, you should then be able to start the server. So that should be sudo systemctl start MySQL, Mariah DB, and then now Mariah DB is now started. So if I now go into Mariah DB, so you have an error in your SQL syntax. So what we can do is we can then say something like select all, oh well, that can't be used, but we'll work with MySQL later. But for now, because that's what we're going to use to actually do that. But after we've done that, we need to install PHP, because we want to make sure that PHP works. So what we're going to do is we're going to do again minus s php php slash Apache, because we're using Apache, although you can use light PD as well, which is another option, but this is perfect. As in, light PD is also another alternative to Apache as well, which works too. So once you've got that, then it's just a matter of just restarting the HTTPD, sudo systemctl restart HTTPD, and then yes, we are now good to go. So next thing we want to do is we want to install php my admin. So we want to install php my. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and install php my admin. So let's do that. php my okie dokie, yes, hurry up. Okay, so we've now installed php my admin, and then what we want to do is you want to go into the PHP settings and you want to change that. So again, pick your favorite editor, obviously sudo and we're going to bring this up. And now we're going to look for extension my MySQLi dot so. Well, I'm going to assume that we uncomment this. Okay, now also what we want to do is we want to go into we're going to etc slash httpd slash conf slash extra slash php myadmin dot conf. Huh. That was my bad. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cd into the directory instead, just so I'll, you know. Ah, my bad. Why is it not there? Ah, I know why. I need to make it. I need to make it. I need to make it. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it. So sudo sbl phpmyadmin.conf. Let's make sure that was spelled right. So phpmyadmin.conf. Okie dokie. And then what we want to do is we want to give it some sort of alias, and we want to make it a directory that we can access from the actual browser itself. So it should look something like this. I already had it pasted on the side. So what I'll do is I'll put this in the description, or I'll think of something. I'll put it there, put it as a comment or whatever. So save that. Now if we exit out of this, so if we look at this, we should now be able to go into cd AEC, and then we want to go into httpd. Wait a minute. Oops, didn't need to go that far. Now if you go into edit now if you go and edit this, we should now be able to add in so we go to the very bottom of the file. We should now be able to include that file that we just did. So we should be able to include that configuration file that we have, so that we can run phpMyAdmin. And then once that's finished, we should now be able to just go ahead and do systemctl restart httpd. Okie dokie. Now that we've done that, we should now be able to go into the browser and then obviously run the actual page. So as normal, this should be now working. But if you also go in here, we should go to php phpMyAdmin. Okie dokie. So it looks like PHP is not completely running. So I think that should be resolved. But yeah, so there was a whole load of configuration that needed to be done for this, because obviously it's Linux. It's not handy dandy. Everything's not handy dandy, which configurations which needed to be done. But obviously, I was unaware of what configurations needed to be done. So those are done now, and if I was to make a simple PHP page like so, or even just, you know, printing out the actual PHP info, you know, it works. So this is exactly what it is. But, you know, enough of that. But there's nothing really much I can say about it. So now if we go to phpMyAdmin, it still wants to fail. Okay, so I'm gonna put some stuff in the link in the description or something, showing how to fix phpMyAdmin and things like that. But obviously, if it's otherwise, you know, it can be done in the terminal with complete control of MySQL, but obviously that's not technically, you can, but obviously phpMyAdmin is better. Well, that is it basically. So now what we can do is we can go in and log in. You can say root, and then type in your root password if you set one. Otherwise, if you've not set one, you can look how to do that. But I'm going to use my root password. Save that, not now. And yes, we should be good to go. And then obviously now you can go ahead and create new databases and whatnot. Databases, tables. You go ahead and do what you want. So yes, now that should be there. In the next video, we can start with this. We'll actually be developing the actual web page. Today it's just been setting up and things like that. Obviously next time there will be a little bit of setting up as well, which will be setting up the other dev environment, which is if you choose to use Phpstorm like I do. So we'll be going through that. But for now, we are going to do. This is goodbye. If you like this content, then please feel free to subscribe. Although this is the very first video, so I won't get my hopes up. I myself won't get my hopes up. But anyways, you know, thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you.